Good day everyone, this is Arnel at Tacusalme and I'll be discussing about the definition of motivation and influence of motivation in learning. First, let's define what is the definition of motivation.
When we say motivation, it is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It is what causes you to act, whether it's getting a glass of water to reduce tears or reading a book to gain knowledge. Motivation involves the biological, emotional, social, cognitive forces that active behaviors. In everyday usage, the term motivation is frequently used to describe why a person does something. It is the driving force behind human actions. Also, motivation doesn't just refer to the factors that active behaviors, it is also involves the factors that direct and maintain these goal-directed actions, though such motives are rarely directly observable. As a result, we often have to infer the reasons why people do the things that they do based on their observable behaviors. And let's move on to the influence of motivation in learning. Motivation has a great impact on the learning process. Motivation alone can determine if the person will pass or fail. While some people learn more by outside influences, others may achieve more by their chief personal aspiration. Whether the situation, everyone involved in any learning process should know how motivation affects learning. Also, why is motivation in education is really important for us. For instance, motivation can help us direct our attention toward tasks that need to be done, allow us to do these tasks in shorter period of time, as well as maintain attention during longer time, minimize distraction and resist them better, affect how much information we retain and store, have the influence the perception of how easy or difficult tasks can appear. Also, we will talking about the factors that influence students' motivation in education. The number one is class and curriculum structure. Children or the students thrive when there is structure and struggle when there is a chaos. The teacher behavior and personality. If a student has a negative emotion such as fear or dislike toward their teacher, that can negatively affect their attitude toward the subject as a whole. And the third one is teaching methods. Students are more likely to retain their motivation in education if educators use different teaching methods. And the fourth one is the parental habits and environment. Quite a few parental habits can directly affect the motivation of children. Intrinsic motivation in particular. This include showing interest in the child's learning material, inquiring about their day, actively listening, helping with specific tasks or skills taught at school, attending parent meetings, encouraging children to complete homework or study for a test. And the fifth one is family issues and instability. The common issue that can really affect the motivation of students, same as the lack of security in the classroom. The lack of security of home can negatively impact motivation in education. Children who live with both parents on average get better grades than the children who don't. Some example include in the fifth family issues and instability is divorce, loss of one or both parents, not living with the biological father or mother, not having a contact with the biological father or mother, frequently moving from one home to another, being or having been involved with child protection services. And the sixth one is peer relationship. As children grow older, the influence peers have upon them increase as well. And the seventh one is the learning environment. School environment or school climate is another factor that affects motivation in education. And lastly, we have the assessment. While standardized assessment increases the standards of attainment, it can negatively influence the student's motivation in education, especially at the younger age.
And that's the end of my report. I hope you learned something from me. Have a good day ahead.